This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so we started with the session yesterday on how the concept of storage management is different from on-premises in the cloud. In the cloud, we, as an administrator, as an cloud operations engineer, we have to take care of network, storage, database, virtual machines, and a lot of other things. Okay, unlike you are on-premises, and because of that concept, okay, there is a lot of difference in the maintenance management and other activities. So there is a lot of cost difference. So there is a lot of total cost of ownership is completely different. And we talked about the data types, the structured, unstructured, semi-structured, and quasi-structured category. And we also highlighted what are the different data concepts that are there. But then we are just talking on the non-relational content as of now. So we are only focused on unstructured as of now. Next week, we'll be focusing on the other data structures or the data category. Okay, and we talked about the different Azure storage options that we have got. Okay, and what is the benefit of Azure storage account? And also we discussed about what are the different blob category that are available. And then what are the difference between the replication type or the redundancy type that we have got in Azure platform? What is the difference between LRS, ZRS, GRS, and so on? Then we talked about some of the Azure storage type. What is the difference between these categories? And then we went ahead and compared what is the difference between object, file, block, and other categories. Okay, we talked about the tiering option. What are the three different tier that is available for your blob or for your object? And then we talked about the different blob categories that are there. Then we enabled object level replication from one storage account to another storage account at the container level. And we also turned on the, we changed some of the storage account from one type to another type, from LRS to ZRS, and then we changed the redundancy type and we tested that. Okay, that we did yesterday. And then when we left the session yesterday, we started discussing on the restoration options. Okay, we saw how to enable the recycle bin, how to restore the deleted objects, and then we also saw how to restore the deleted container. We also saw how to restore the deleted storage account. So these are the things that we have seen until yesterday. So today we'll be continuing on the same stuff. Okay, so we'll try to see what are the other options in the data protection. Okay, so the very first option we saw yesterday is on the soft delete, right? Soft delete is like your recycle bin. We enabled it and then we tried restoring it. Maybe I can quickly show you that option here. So if you go to your storage account in your container, if I go and delete something, for example, if I delete something, so you have soft delete option by default enable. So you can see the previous version of the file and you can go and quickly undelete it. So how this is possible? Because you have a data protection settings enabled. By default, any object, any binary large object, any blob that you delete is available to be restored from recycle bin for 7 days, number one. And even if you delete the container, even the container can be restored quickly. For example, if I go and delete this container, okay, you can also go and restore the deleted container quickly by selecting this option and you can undelete that. Okay, you can restore the container also. Similarly, if you go and delete the storage account, okay, it will take some time. So if you delete the storage account, it will also can be restored if you go to this option, delete recover deleted account. Earlier we used to have this option here, but now the option is moved to here. Okay, if you have deleted some storage account, with for 2 weeks you can restore using this particular option. You can click on restore. It will show you the list of deleted storage account from the last 2 weeks and you can select that and restore it. Okay, that is possible. Okay, so these are the options, recovery options that we have to start with. So we saw that soft delete option at the blob level, which is at the object level. blob is binary large object, and we saw the soft delete at the container level. So these are enabled by default, and the default settings is 7 days, and you can have a minimum of 1 day, and you can have a maximum of 365 days, 1 year for your soft delete kind of recycle bin option. Okay, and also we have the recover storage account option, where you can recover the storage account for the last 2 weeks. Okay, deleted storage account can be restored. Now we'll talk about the different options like snapshots, versioning, and then those other advanced things. Okay, see, snapshot is different from the recycle bin option, and snapshot is again different from backup option also. See, backup we'll be seeing in the next to next class, okay, where next to next weekend, okay, where we have a separate full day session on Azure backup. We will see how to restore your entire storage account or the content or the virtual machines, the data, file shares, and all those things later. But for now, let's not get into the backup, but snapshot is something which is a point in time backup. See, if application team or if someone is going to make any changes to your objects or content, see, unlike your traditional on-premises, these content within your storage account, it can be accessed by many different stuff. You can access it from the application. You can use REST API to store the data. You can also use some third-party tools like SDKs to go and access it. I'll show some demo on that. But for now, okay, you have if someone is going to make some changes, or they are making some new version of the content, you can go and enable this particular snapshot. And what happens when you enable the point in time backup, you will have a read only version of the snapshot, okay, of the binary large object taken at that time. So see, this is snapshot that we need to go and trigger it. A blob can have any number of snapshots. Snapshot persist until they are explicitly deleted, either independently or as a portion of as part of your delete blob operation. You can also delete the snapshots also. I can show you that quickly. See, if you go to your uh, storage account, and if you go to your container, so you have the containers here, right? See, if I go here, and for example, I'm just going to take a snapshot here. Okay, if I say create snapshot, or let me do one thing. I'll upload a new file. Okay, let me, okay, these are also files. Some YAML file, okay? I'm just uploading it. And if I want to take a snapshot of that particular file, I can select this and then create a snapshot. And if you want to take a snapshot of your entire container, okay, what you have to do is you have to go to your storage account, you have to select the storage account, and you have to go to the data protection option. Under the data protection option, you have the option to go and enable point in time restore for your containers. So until that time, the option for restoring the container will not be enabled. It will be hidden until you enable that. And one important thing that you need to understand, see, for example, you have got enable soft delete for blobs for 7 days, and you have got enable soft delete for containers for 7 days. That is the default. If I change it to 1 day, okay, let's say 1 day, it will work. But if I go and enable the point in time restore, you cannot have conflict between these two. For example, I cannot say I need to have snapshot for 1 day and then soft delete for 1 day. Then there is a conflict. So you need to have more number of days for the soft delete compared to the point in time. I purposefully did that. See, if I go and enable it, it says the value must be less than the value that is set for the blob soft delete. This is the important thing that you need to understand. Okay, so you cannot have a conflict between the settings. So I'll just make a note of that. Okay, you have to have a number which is again higher than the snapshot number. So if you're setting it this as 1, you need to set this as 2 at least. Okay, that way it will work. So now after I save this, you should start seeing the restore container option here. Okay, see, it is enabled now. Now if you have accidentally deleted this container, you have two options. One, you can restore it from the snapshot using this option, or you can also go and show the deleted container and you can restore it from the deleted container option. So there are two different things. Soft delete is different. This option snapshot is different. So you have to go and explicitly enable that option. Soft delete is enabled by default, whereas snapshot you have to go and add it. The reason it is not enabled by default, you have to pay extra for the snapshots. Okay, so it will accumulate the exact same kind of same size and you have to pay for it. Okay, so not enabled by default and you have to explicitly enable it. So if you want to delete that particular snapshot, so let's say I want to go and select this file. I want to delete it. If I say this, it will give me two options: delete the file as well as delete the snapshot. So you can also delete both of them. Okay, you can have snapshot as well as see, there is one important thing. If I'm not enabling this option, it will not allow me to delete. For example, let's say does it have a snapshot? Let me check that first. No snapshot, right? We will create a snapshot now. Okay, now I have created a snapshot and now I am trying to delete it. So it will give me a warning now. If I delete it, it will say there are some existing snapshot for your file and you cannot delete it. See, it says the operation is not permitted because there is a snapshot that is there. So in order to deal with that, I can select this option, delete it, and you can also select the option to delete it. So I'll talk about the lease option later. This lease option is mainly to mark a delete or read only marker on your files, so that if some application is accessing it, it will have a lease assigned to your object. So some application is using it, and once the application has completed the transaction or updating the file, it will release the lease actually. So there are some timings actually, like by default it is 60-second lease, and it is mainly for application to object level access, not for your regular console access, but there is an option here. But I'm just going to say this option and delete. So now I have deleted the file as well as the snapshot. Where so if I show this deleted blobs, I can see that deleted file, yeah, that is there. And more important thing is you also can go and view the version. So that way you will see two different content, one for your regular thing and one for your snapshot also. So you can restore both deleted snapshot and the regular version of the file. You have two options here. You can select this. You can also go and download that. You can also make the older version as current version, and you can also delete it from the soft delete from the recycle bin. If you're deleting it from here, then you have to have backup to restore. Okay, so these many options are there. So you have very good data protection options. And the last option that we are going to see is on the versioning. Okay, so yeah, versioning. Versioning is mainly to keep multiple versions of the same file. Okay, keep multiple versions of the same file. So if I have been updating the file regularly and I want to go back to the previous state, for example, these days, like your application, even infrastructure is being developed as a code, and you are checking in a lot of files, and then you are creating a lot of code. And if you want to roll back that particular code to the previous state or the previous day or whatever, it is acting like a point in time backup, but this is an automatic process. It automatically, the blob versioning, if you enable it, it automatically maintains the previous versions of the blob. And when the blob version is so you can also restore to a earlier version if you have erroneously modified or deleted. Okay, so this helps to restore if we have accidentally or erroneously modified or deleted. I'll show you that. So this option, you have to go to again data protection. If you scroll down, versioning option is also enabled here. So by default, it is enabled, and that's the reason you can see that you are able to see multiple versions of the same file. So if I go to that particular file, if I'm clicking version, okay, I'm able to see multiple versions of the same file. How that is feasible? That is because you have the versioning enabled. Okay, if versioning is not enabled, I will not be getting version ID like this. Okay, if I go and say show deleted version, you can also see that. So versioning is enabled, and you are able to see that. And one, maybe few things you need to understand as part of the experience. See, yesterday we configured some replication, right? So we configured replication from this storage account to this storage account. And if I try to do something on the replication content, let's see what is happening. Okay. Oh, what happened? We deleted that, huh? Okay. Okay, so here, let me try to do something here. Or let me try to see. See, you don't have these options. Let me undelete it. Let's see what's happening. See, the request is rejected because of object replication policy. So I am replicating this content from another storage account to here. If I have deleted that content on the primary storage account, you cannot do anything on the destination. You have to go and fix the primary storage account. If you go and restore it there, automatically the replication will bring that file here. So that is why you got that error. Okay, so you need to deal with this situation also. See, in real time, you will be facing some similar situations where you have deleted the content on the source, but in destination also you will see that, but you cannot fix anything on the destination. You'll have to go and fix it on the source, so that automatically the destination will get updated when you go and restore it on the source side. Okay, so this is how the replication works. We enabled Apache, sorry, not Apache, object level replication yesterday, and we have seen how the replication happens. I'll also show you one more kind of replication which happens from on-premises to the cloud. I'll show you that demo today. But now, let's see what else we can quickly discuss. And in the data protection option, you also saw one more option here. Okay, so if you scroll down, it is giving us option to go and have the blob change feed. So blob change feed, it will enable all the changes, creation, deletion, modification, all the changes that you are making in your blob container will be kept here. But if you only want to have the delete change feed log, that is, you can also mention the number of days here. But for now, I'm not changing anything. I'll show you how to go and do that auditing or analysis. Okay, so here I have enabled that. So where exactly the blob change feeds are contained, so you will not be seeing it under the activity log. So activity log will have some level of activities, like at the container level, if someone is uploading some content, or if someone is making some changes, so you'll be able to see some level of activity log. But at the blob level, if you are making some changes or activity modification, then you have to go and look at the blob change feed. Okay, so you can also download this content as a CSV file. If there are multiple activities, you can also download and filter it and see that. You can also click on this insight option. I'll come to that during the monitoring class. And you also have the export activity log option. So you have multiple options to export it and filter it using your Excel sheet or different thing. But the change blob feed option, you have a folder separately created here, blob change feed. So this is where all the changes that you are making to your object, either it is creation, deletion, modification, or whatever, snapshot restoration, all the activities will be getting tracked here. So if your organization, if you're having tools like Apache Drill or Apache Spark, you can quickly read that. Okay, blob change feed. So this is to keep track of any changes to your blob. Okay, when I say changes, create, modification, delete, or any changes. Okay, So the purpose of the change feed is to provide transaction logs for all the changes that occurs to your blob and the blob metadata. Even if someone is going and changing the metadata also, that will be available. So the change feed will provide you ordered, guaranteed, durable, immutable, read-only log of these changes. So no one can go and change the log also. So the log files are immutable, which means you cannot go and tamper it, and also it is ordered in an appending way, and it is a very guaranteed log file, and you have a durable content, and it is only read only. Okay, I'll show you how to do that. But if you have Apache drill or Apache Spark kind of thing, you'll be able to read those files, because the file format will be Avro files. Okay, that is the most popular analytics or the auditing file format. So it will be in this particular file format. I'll show you how to read that. Okay, it is very simple. If you go to this one, you will have a folder, and within that you have a log file here. If you are talking about the metadata changes, there is a separate folder called metadata. But I'm going to show you the blob level changes. You will have year, month, date, and then different files that that are, I mean, whatever changes we are making. See, if I want to download this file and read this, I can select this, and it is by default append blob, because it is log files. It is event file, event capturing file. So by default, it will be in append blob format. If I want to download this, or if I want to open this, I can just click on download, click on this download option, or I can also, okay, earlier they used to give view option, but again, that is not going to be very interesting because it will be in JSON format. I'll download it, and then what is the size? Okay, if you want to see the size, here it is, okay, 4.85. And if you want to see the overall container size, just go one step back, and here under the properties, you will be able to see the overall size of your container. There are two options actually. One, okay, let me show you this. One, you can go to the metadata, scroll down, not here, somewhere, overview, properties, sorry, properties, scroll down, you will be able to see the calculate size option. So using this option, you will be able to see how much blob, how much page, how much open blob, the total size. You can see it here, but then this doesn't have any content because these are all replicated content from other containers. I'll show you a different one. Maybe go here, go to properties, scroll down, calculate size. You will see the small size of that particular content. Okay, so you'll be able to see that. And there are other options also. If you go to overview or storage browser, here also you will be able to see the size of the file, total account, and all those things. But I'll come to that. Okay, so don't jump over there as of now. I'll complete this part. I'll show you how to read those Avro files. Okay, so file format, Avro file reader, or I'll just show you online itself. There is a lot of tools that are available in the internet that you can download and read it, but I'll show you how to read it online, and then how to convert it to CSV file or Excel file format. Even you can convert it into JSON file format, because like tools like Splunk and other tools, it supports JSON. So if I go here, it will ask me to upload the Avro file. Avro is the Apache default file format. Downloads, select that Avro file. See, now after I upload it, you will get JSON file format by default. But then JSON, you can download that. But we are all mostly used to comma separated value, or the Excel format. If I click on this, it will convert to a CSV, and it will be looking very easy to read it. See, for example, now it has got converted, and you will be able to quickly read that. So blob created, blob snapshot created, blob deleted, what time, whether it was a snapshot blob or a delete blob, whether it was a put blob, who did that, what time it was done, whether it is a text file, all those complete details you can get it from here. So it's a very good file format. You can also have some tools installed in your machine like Avro Weaver, which can quickly help you to troubleshoot or find out who made the changes, or when the changes were made, and so on. Okay, so activity log, it will give you at the storage account level, and whatever upload download you are doing. But then The blob level activities, you have to go and capture it separately and you get it inside your blob change feed. Okay. So any questions so far? Okay. If not, let's continue.
Okay. Then
Yeah.
if you are deleting the container
Mm-hmm.
and then you try to restore from the snapshot.
Mm-hmm.
You are given the 14 days of deletion. If you
Mm-hmm.
are not restoring from the container undelete, you are just restoring from the snapshot. What happened after
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks? What happened to the deleted container? Will it be impacted? Anything overwritten or something, or deleted? Will be
Okay. See,
deleted or it will be restored?
yeah. So these are all like quick emergency options which you can use just for interim level. But as a long-term plan, you should always have Azure backup taking care of your content backup, because these are all not completely guaranteed things. Sometimes there are chances, a few times it might not work, but I'll quickly show you. See, if I go and delete this, and hopefully we have enabled the data protection. Let me check that. Let me double check that. Yeah, we have enabled the point in time. See, this is the option which I'm talking about. We will see that option next to next week, but for not for now. Okay, so okay, this is fine. Okay, yeah. See, that's the reason we are having this soft delete option higher than the snapshot number. Okay, so let me delete it now. Let me go to the container. Let me go and delete it. So this time I'm not going to undelete it from the soft delete option. See, I can do it from here. This is the option that I have shown you yesterday to undelete it. But now I'm going to show you the restore container option. Here I go to the restore container. I can say restore all, or I can also go and select the specific container and select the restore selected option, and it gives me an option to roll back to a particular stage. That is the difference from the other option. Undelete will undelete the whatever version we have, but if I want to restore it to a particular date, time and stuff, I can also do that. For example, I want to restore it to the 5/7 or a particular time, I can also do that, like let's say 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. or whatever time zone, and I can also do that. Okay, so let's see. I think the snapshot I took it some time back. Okay, and then restore it. So okay, let me check that. Okay, we have not taken the snapshot. Let's refresh it. Okay, let me go and restore the container. So this is the time that they say. Yeah, so you can restore it from the snapshot. This is different from soft delete option. Okay, now where do I find that? I have to go to my container properties. Here also you can see when it was last modified and what are the different options we have. I mean, this is undelete is the other option where from the soft delete. So you have multiple options like this. Okay, let me come back, refresh it. So now if I go to my container, okay, so if you go to the container properties, you have two different things. Okay, so let me undelete and show you. So if I go to the container, sorry, it's taking some time. Yeah, both of the things are working. So you just give it some time, okay? Otherwise, it will not work. So you have two different options. You can restore it from the snapshot. Snapshot, it is a point in time thing. You cannot restore it to the previous immediate time before deletion. It only allows you to take based on the periodic thing. Okay, so don't rely completely on this. So you have to enable backup if you really want to do complete restoration. There are quick options like this, soft delete, snapshot, and these options like versioning. So these are all very good options, but the primary thing will be operational backup, which you regularly do for your on-premises thing, right? Similarly, you have to enable the backup and you have to consider that as a regular activity. Okay, now coming back to storage security. Okay, yeah. So let's talk about the storage security now, and object replication. We saw that we created replication yesterday. Now, okay, let's complete this and then go to security. Blob inventory, it's a very good tool. See, if in your on-premises, you might have been asked to generate a tree size report or a kind of complete inventory report, right? So in Azure Cloud, you have an option called blob inventory. You can create an inventory rule, and this will start creating a complete structure. Like I can just say blob container rule 1, and I can select for which container I want to do it, for container 3 or container 1 or container 2, and then I can try the inventory at the container level, or I can try the inventory at the blob level. I can select, but selectively do, because in real time you'll have hundreds and thousands of files, right? So you can also go and include the deleted blobs. You can include the, see, some people will be asking these content for cleaning up. See, for example, you have accumulated hundreds of GB, and then you want the business owners to go and clean that content. So you will not be able to decide on your own, because you don't have direct understanding on what kind of content is that, whether it is really needed or not needed. You cannot take a decision on that. So what you can do is you can just take a report like this and then give this report to them on a daily basis or a weekly basis, and you can give it in a CSV format. Whereas if they are asking for the Apache Parquet format, this is the very latest file format, right? Parquet. So you can also give that, but then most of the people will be asking in comma separated value so that they can see it in their Excel viewer. Okay, now I can just click on save. This will create a rule, and I will be able to get a file, or I'll be able to get the inventory, and I will be able to share them. It will take a couple of minutes. I'll show you that, but for now let it run. And the other option which you can do is the lifecycle management. Okay, so there are two different things. Lifecycle management is different, the blob inventory is different. Lifecycle management can also save you cost. How we can save the cost? I'll explain that. Okay, let me. So what is lifecycle management? Lifecycle management is again assigned, it's related to cost. Okay, so the reason it is related to cost, because see, initially all your files will be accessed on a regular basis, and when time progresses, some files you will never need it, or you will never access it. So some files will be regularly accessed, some files you will be irregularly accessing it or infrequently accessing it, some will be rarely accessed. So definitely in every organization, even in your laptop or in your hard disk also, you will have a lot of junk data, a lot of data that you really never needed, but then you still have that in your costly storage. So similarly in Azure Cloud, in Azure Storage, there are chances that your storage might get accumulated with infrequently accessed data, rarely accessed data, and you as a administrator, you don't have business visibility, or you don't have visibility on the data content, or what exactly the data is used for, and so on. So as an administrator, you can give some recommendations to them to move the data from the hot tier to cold tier, so that they can save a lot of cost. Similarly, you can say move data from hot tier to, or cool tier to archive tier. There should be some criteria, right? So data that was not changed for last 30 days, data that was not accessed for last 180 days, something like that. Okay, you can create a criteria, and you need to get the approval from the business, and you can move it. The reason I'm saying you need to get the approval from business, see, moving the data to archive tier it is like a hydrated thing. It's an archive. You cannot directly go and access it just like that. You will be able to see the data, but it will take some time to rehydrate or dehydrate. So it is like a backup thing. Okay, you are putting it into low cost storage and you are saving a lot of cost, and you cannot retrieve it just like that. If you want to retrieve it from the archive tier, there is a cost associated with that. See, for example, if the file size is less than 10 GB, they can give you a quick retrieval within an hour. But if the data is huge, based on the data that you need to restore or recover from the archive to the hard tier, it takes more time. Okay, so if you are putting it in the hard tier, data can be accessed anytime you want. You can, but cost is very high if you are storing the data in hot tier. In cool tier, cost is moderate and you can access the data you anytime you want. And archive tier, it is only for historical data. If your organization wants to store the data for 7 years or 20 years or more than that, you generally go and archive it only for historical and auditing purpose. But then if someone auditing organization or someone is asking for that particular historical data, I want the patient's data for last 20 years, then you need to go and pull it from the archive tier. Then you can get that from the requester, but again on the other side you have to wait for some time to get that archive tier. So you understand, right? See, for example, if you want to have the last 6 months bank statement, you get it immediately. But then if you want it for 7 years or 10 years, then the bank takes some time to retrieve that data and get it for you. So that is similar to this. Okay, so if you want a lot of data from historical stuff, then it needs some time. So but then archive tier is very, very cheap, and the only thing is you have time associated with the retrieval, the dehydration, and also you have to pay for the data access charges when it is stored in archive tier. And also we talked about the minimum storage time, right? In cool, you have to minimum store it for 30 days. If you are deleting it before that, you have to pay early deletion charges. Similarly, if you have to delete the data in archive tier before 180 days, you have to again pay for early deletion charges. So yeah, coming back to here. So I can also enable lifecycle management. I'll show you how to do that. Click on the add rule, and here it will give you option. I'm just going to show you how to move from hot to cool for maybe 30 days data. Okay, just I'm giving some rule name. You can also give whatever rule that is more easy to understand. Okay, so here it is giving me option whether I want to apply this to all the blobs in your storage account, or I want to do it for specific blobs with some specific timestamp or prefix or suffix. I can do that. And it is giving me option whether I want to do it only for the blob or even for the append blob. I can also do it for base blob, snapshot, and previous version. You have multiple things. Click on next. Here it gives me two options. Data that has not been modified for last how many days? 30 days. What you can do? You can move it to cool storage. Data that has not been last modified for maybe like 365 days, 1 year, I can go and say create a rule called delete the blob. So you have multiple options, multiple rules, multiple conditions you can add, but these conditions you need to get approval from the business owner so that you don't end up doing something which is not as per their requirement. So you need to tell them we have such options. Through this option, as an operations team, as an administrator, you can tell them that you have a lot of options to save cost for the organization. But if they don't want to enable the life cycle management, then the only option that you have got is go and give them the what do you call the blob inventory data, ask them to go through that and then tell us which folder can be deleted, which content can be deleted, and you can assign that ticket to that particular service desk engineer or the L1 engineer. So they will delete that content based on the business owner approval. Okay, so these two are very essential if you're working with the customer or the business owner. These two options will help you to save a lot of cost and clean up unwanted data and keep your storage for really needed data. Okay, next interesting option is static website. Okay, static website is for okay, we have not discussed on storage security yet. I'll explain that, but before that we'll complete the static website. See, static website, if you have a kind of website like if you want to do a travel portal, or if you want to start your own blogging portal or vlog, whatever, right? Those will not have lot of data that are getting frequently changed. You will have a main homepage, and that homepage will remain the same, but you might be adding more content, documents, and so on. But then it doesn't need any programming language or like special application to be installed to do some server side processing. So if your application is written in HTML or some basic XML or whatever, those are all website coming under the static website category. It doesn't need any major changes. Okay, the dynamic website is something you need to install some server side programming languages and then develop using that, and then update using those things. But then static website, you can it doesn't change very frequently, and you have a very easy way of managing it. Only thing is you need client side extensions or plugins that you need to do it on your browser level, not on the server side. So for those kind of content, you can enable the static website hosting. So you need not create any special server. You need not waste your money in your OS licensing, managing that server or managing that particular Apache or IAS service. So you need separate administrator and separate person to take care of that operating system, high availability again, and then you need to have a load balancer. Too many complication, right? If you want to have a web server for your static thing, you need to have two servers to have redundancy, and in order to load balance the traffic between those two servers, you need to have load balancer, DNS record, IAS management or Apache management, OS management, patching, too many things. But here, if you are planning to enable static website, or if you want to have a static website, only thing you need to pay for the storage cost. You need to pay for the accumulation of your content here, and you can enjoy running a web server or a static website in your storage account. But very important thing, this one is not allowed. The server side scriptings are not allowed. You cannot run any application here. You can just only host the content, and you will be able to allow access to the end users. See, for example, when I enable it, before enabling it, I'll show you one thing. Maybe the endpoint is already available. See, if I go to the endpoint list, yeah, so see, for static website, this endpoint is already available, but we have not enabled it. So see, the difference is the .web. Okay, .web is for your static website. You have the .web endpoint. Endpoint is how you are accessing the content in your Azure storage. For if you want to access the queue storage, if you want to access the table storage, so you need to use this particular separator or distinguishing thing. Okay, now let me go and enable it. Okay, let me go and enable the static website. Before enabling the static website, I'll show you what are the different content that are there in the containers. So as of now, okay, container 3 doesn't have any, okay, let's create a separate container for that. Okay, we don't want to confuse it with others. So I'll call this as static web container. Okay, and I'll give access to be accessed from the internet. Okay, let me create it. So now I want this container to be used as a used for the static website hosting. You can use any container, but then I just created it purposefully to understand the naming convention. I'll enable it. It will ask, oh, okay. So see, this is not going to help because it will create a folder on the root itself. It will create $web on the root itself. Here, you are not seeing any $web as of now, right? So this is not needed actually. Okay, I'll delete this. Okay, it will automatically create a $web folder, and that is the standard that Azure maintains. For AWS, the concept is little different, but yeah, so Azure, you can have two files. Okay, one file for your master index file. So if you are going to have it as index.html or htm, okay, let me check if I have got some files here. Desktop, I've got some index files, but then this is for my AWS, but I can use that here also in Azure also, index.html. Okay, so whatever file format, if you have index.html or XML or whatever, you can use that. So it is the default landing page for your static website. So I'm going to use that. Now you can also have a error page. Okay, if someone is not able to access, you can give some information that go and do this, check your DNS settings, or try to access the alternate page. Those kind of information you can give that in the error page. If they are not able to access the index page, you can also give the error page. See, very important thing, websites may include static content and client-side script. Client-side script is what? If you go to your browser settings and you have these options, right, on your browser, you can go and change some client-side settings. Okay, so there are some options like custom preferences on your client side. I don't know, even I have done that very long back. You can go and change some client side settings to enable ASP or enable some Java and all those things. And that is what we call it as client side browser side settings or client side script. So client side, you can go and change it on the browser side, but you cannot install any application on the storage account. Okay, that is something you need to understand. Okay, let me go and show you this. I'll enable and save that. So once after you save it, you have the option, you will see that a new folder called $web getting created. If you go to the containers, you will start seeing it now. See, it has created a new folder just now at 6:21 p.m. and it has been created as a private access level by default. Okay, if you go inside that, it will not have any content, it will be empty. You can go and upload the complete content there. Okay, you can upload folders, files, and all those things. I can also drag and drop, I think. Okay, let me try that. Yeah, it supports. Okay, no, it has opened up all the content here. Let me try. Yeah, it is allowing. But why it is opening up a new page? No, it doesn't allow actually. Okay, then that's fine. I'll upload it. That's okay. Okay, I thought I've tried it before. Anyway, so here I want to upload some files. Desktop. So this is the file. But then there should be options to upload the complete content also. 1 minute, let me try that. See, earlier they used to give options to have some folders underneath. It looks like that option is not enabled. Let me try this. So we have a inbuilt browser option. Let's try that. Using the storage browser, let me go to the blob container and then see if I'm able to do any changes here. Okay, so here you have the add directory option. Okay, here I can create the folder. I don't know, they used to have that in my so in the direct option itself, but I'll explain about the storage browser after a few minutes, but I'll just make use of this option to create it for now. Okay, I'll create one more virtual directory called CSS. Okay, now I've got, oh no, it has created under images and okay, let me go and refresh it. It takes some time to refresh. Let's see what happened. Blob containers, $web. Did that not save? Okay, add directory. This will create a virtual directory, does not actually exist in Azure until you paste or upload. Oh, okay, interesting. This is really strange. Okay, now I'll have to upload some files to make it. Now I have the drag and drop option. Okay, now I can copy. Okay, these are all some sample, some cakes and other image files, but let me upload it. Okay, okay, it says, okay, browse for files, 8 files selected, upload. Yeah. You can also do it using another tool called Azure Storage Explorer. I'll also show you that shortly. But now we'll use the inbuilt storage browser. This doesn't need any additional tools or agents to be installed. You can directly use that. Okay, let's give it a minute because these are all some small files, but then still it has got images. See, if I'm planning to start my own cafe shop or I want to start my own business, so I've got some images here and I've got some styles extensions here, which can give me some style sheet kind of thing. Okay, that is a very small file, only one file. Okay, let's try that. Let it upload. And maybe I'll duplicate the folder. Storage Explorer is still in preview. Oh, no, it's now in general usage. Okay, good. So there is a SLA support for that. Now, let me go and look at the containers. I should be able to see that new folder. Perfect. Now it gives me the option here. Okay, I don't know. They used to have the option to create the container here only. Okay, let's not dive too much there. So I'll create one more folder. Okay, go inside the web, add a directory. I'll call this as CSS, and then go inside the CSS. I'll upload the files. Okay, you don't have to really worry about the content and all because like the developers is going to develop those contents for you. It's just a style sheet, okay, to give you some options uploaded, right? Okay, now what I can do is after uploading all these contents in my $web, we have got an index file now, right? So we have got an index file in my $web. And what is the path, what is the option to access this index file? So you have a unique URL that has been already created, like the storage account dot z13.web.core.net. If I just go and copy this, and if I try to access it from the internet, let's see what happens. Wow, see, it has opened up the Stan's Cafe Shop in 5 minutes. I'm able to start my own business and I'm able to see all the pictures and then what kind of business I do, how they can reach me, and what is the timing and all those things. It has created a website for me in 5 minutes and I don't need a server. I don't need any kind of redundancy. Don't have to worry because I've got 3 copies by default. If I go and enable zone redundant or GRS option, I'll have 6 copies. It will give me 99.99 of availability. Even I'll never get that level of redundancy and availability in my servers because like 6 copies, you need 6 servers, right? In that too in different geographical region. So I'm able to create my own static website within a few minutes, right? So that's the beauty of static website option in your Azure storage. Okay, that is one thing. And now let me also show you the storage explorer. So this is storage browser, right? So for example, I've got a machine where I want to, let me see if I got any virtual machines. Yeah, I've got Stan Docker. This is stopped. Okay, I'll use this only. I don't want to spin up any new machine. Let me use this. Okay, so this is good actually. It has got a lot of images, so it takes some time. That's fine, but I'll close this. Okay, so once after the machine is ready, I'll show you how to manage the storage from your system. So now you have the browser option, which is really beautiful. Okay, you have you can go and open the container that you want. You can upload, download the files, and you got access to different storage type. So all those options are available, but there are some limitations in the browser-based management, right? You have got all the options like restoring and then looking at all the content. So you have many options, but still there are some limitations here. Copy paste options are there. You have drag and drop and other things, but I'll show you the options that we have in the server. Okay, so go and copy this IP. Let's log into that. Okay, I'll log into the VM. I think this is Windows 11, I guess. Okay, anyways, that tool should work. Yeah, this is Windows 11. Okay, fine. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to go and download the Azure Storage Explorer. You can directly go and download the tool. So there are two options. Any tool that you want to download for managing your Azure platform, you have this one. You can just say azure.microsoft.com/downloads. That link will give you access to all the tools that you want to manage Azure platform. Okay, let me, it'll take some time. The server has, I mean, the machine has just got loaded. azure.microsoft.com/downloads. Okay, I've typed that, but anyways, let it take its time to show. /downloads. Okay, no, there is a typo. Let me do that again. So here, azure.microsoft.com/downloads. Okay, so if you go to this, there is again a small typo mistake here. Downloads. So if you go to this site, you have the option to go and download all the tools that Microsoft provides for managing the Azure platform. For now, I just need the Azure Storage Explorer, this option. I mean, we'll see all the different tools here. Okay, so don't worry about that. Now I want to download Azure Storage Explorer. This is a tool through which you can manage your Azure cloud storage from your desktop or from your server. It is a free tool. You can manage all the things like upload, download, copy, paste, manage, copy, permissions. So all such things you can do from here. And this tool is again a tool which is cross-platform, or you can install it on different different OS also. You have the tool for Mac, Linux, and Windows, but I'll download it for Windows for now. And once after I download it, I can just go and install that. Okay, open the file. Okay, if you want to install it for your usage, or if it is a shared jump server or a bastion server, you can install it for all uses. But for now, I'm the only one who is going to use that. So I'll select install for me, install it. Next, it needs 400 MB. So if you don't have space on your C drive, go and change the drive and then have it on your D drive, wherever you have more disk space. Install, and if you want to change the name, you can change it for your listing. Okay, so Azure Storage Explorer. Okay, it will take a minute, and then you will also see that it is installing other tools like AZ Copy and other plugins. Okay, let it complete. Meanwhile, I'll see what we can do here. Okay, so we have covered these things. So we have got only Azure Search, that is fine. Okay, so now we'll also touch base on the security and networking. So let's wait for that tool to load. Okay, so while this is happening, okay, it's done. I'll launch it. See, there are many ways that are available to access your Azure storage. Okay, you have got many options. You have got username and password. You have got the access keys, shared access key. You can use your Azure Active Directory based username and password to access it. See, if I go and click on connect, okay, you will see that you've got multiple options to manage your Azure subscription. You can log into the subscription level and you will be able to access all the storage account that is there on your Azure subscription, Azure tenant level. See, it gives you option to connect to the complete subscription, specific storage, specific container, specific file share, and so on. But then if I want to connect to a specific storage account, so I select this option and it gives me three options. Okay, so it gives me three options. What are these three options? So you got three different options through which you can connect to your Azure storage account from Microsoft native tool or even from third-party tool. I'll also show you an example for third-party, but for now I'll just show you the Microsoft native option. Okay, so here the basic one is the connection string, the key or the shared access signature token. So this one, the connection string, it is pretty straightforward, but it is not a very secure one or a robust one. See, it gives you a very big key, but then that still can be hacked, or it can be definitely easily it can be found out. Okay, so this is the basic option, Azure access key, but then there should be a lot of practice to safeguard that. You need to rotate that key every 60 days or every 30 days so that um, it won't someone who has got access to that key will not misuse that. So by default, Microsoft provides you two different keys. You can rotate the key if one of them has been one of the key has been known to some unwanted people. You can also go and refresh that. But now I'll show you how to connect using this. You can also set a and you can rotate it every 30 days or 60 days based on your organization practice. But for now, I'll take the key here. So it gives me this particular key. This is a kind of password. See, even though it has got a lot of string characters and special characters and all those things, but still like it is a kind of thing which can be compromised. Okay. Now, if I select the connection string option, it asks for two options. You can give the connection string. Okay, I mean, I copied the wrong one. I can copy the connection string. Connection string will have multiple content. I'll explain this. So if I go to the connection string, it gives me multiple things. It is giving me the option that whether I want to use HTTP or HTTPS. By default, Microsoft uses HTTPS, which is secure transfer. And it also gives me the option to look at the account name, and it gives me the account key. So you can also copy just this and then connect. But then if you're copying the entire string, automatically the account name will get populated in your display here. See here, when I want to connect it, I don't want to enter anything here. If I paste it, automatically it will pick up the account name. See, it has took the account name from here and it has auto populated it. If you want to change the display name, you can change it. Okay, it's up to you. And if I click on next, okay, I'll be able to connect to that particular storage account alone using the storage explorer. And I've used the basic one, the what you call the um, access key. Okay, so you can see that I'm able to access the storage container here, I mean the storage account, and also the containers within the. Okay, yeah, sorry, there was some small minor disruption in network. Okay, see, it has got all the content that I could access. You guys are able to hear me okay, right?
Yes, done.
Okay, perfect. So, okay, so here you can see that it has got more options now. Okay, download, copy, paste, clone, undelete, manage history, folder statistics. So it gives you a lot of beautiful options. See here, it is generating the statistics now. And okay, there is some minor disruption in my network connection. Let me do one thing. Let me try to switch to my mobile. Okay, I've switched to my mobile network so that I can have a stable connection. There is some fluctuation in my broadband. So now, see, this has got a lot of other option. You can create new folder. You can also do a preview. You can also do a clone, which is not available in your regular storage there. And you have manage history, folder statistics. A lot of different things are available here. Okay, now you can also see after the statistics has run, it says active blob, how much bytes, and all those details you will be able to find out here. So now I've connected only to one of my storage. What if I want to connect to the entire subscription? Click on this pin or the connection dialog option. You can connect to the entire subscription by selecting the subscription option. But before going to that, I'll also show you one more option which is more powerful than the access key. See, there is an option called shared access signature. So this is the option that will be there in your organization for a longer duration because of the robustness and uh, because of the way that this is being organized. It is a very good powerful tool. Just give me a second. Yeah, I'll show you that. Okay, just a minute. Yeah, so let's do that. Okay, shared access signature, and this gives a URL based signature based access option. And the other benefit is that you have option to restrict only to blob, only to file, only to table. So you have filtering option at the service level, and also you have option to filter the permission, whether you want to allow them to read only or create or update, or you want to have a, option to give them to delete the option, or if you want to allow them to see the previous version. And you have the most beautiful option here, which is time-based expiry. Okay, you can allow them to access only during a particular time or particular duration or particular day of the week or whatever. And you can also restrict it from specific range of IP address. So these level of option is not available in access key. Access key is very straightforward. It is a kind of password kind of thing, and if someone has this password they can connect. But the shared access signature is the most recommended method, which you have to recommend in an organization for multiple reasons. Okay, the primary reason is that it has got time bound restriction, and it has got source IP restriction from where we can access, and you also have the access permissions filtering option. Okay, at what level, blob level, or what service level access, you can also restrict that. See, if I go and select, for example, and also you have option to have protocols HTTP and HTTPS. You can also have secure and unsecure option. So protocol HTTP and HTTPS both. So now coming to the link here, see if I go and generate it now, I'll select what I want to allow them to access. I want to allow them to access container and maybe object. I only want to allow them to access file and blob. And let me generate a string now. See, the string that we are generating, with the string itself, you will be able to understand what exactly it is allowing us to do. I'll show you one thing. Let me paste it here first. So I mean, if you know what we have done, you'll be able to read that. For example, see, I can tell you. So here it is allowing, we are allowing only blob and file, and we are only allowing the CO. What is that CO here? We are only allowing container and object. We are not allowing the service. And similarly, we are giving read, write, delete, and all those options. So in this string itself, if you are smart, you will be able to find out whether there is a problem with the connection string or whether there is anything issue with the token that we have generated by going through that. Okay, that has got all the details. So it says a SAS is required. Okay, maybe we have copied the wrong one. Let me just go and check what is that. We have to copy the SAS token, this one, not the connection string. Okay. There is some level of disconnection. Okay, let me click this. Let me select this. Shared access, signature. Are we copying the wrong URL? Let me check. Okay, we already mapped that one. Okay, it says, okay, blob. This should be okay, but why it is not accepting it? Let me cancel it, or let me go one step back. Connection string, okay. Let me regenerate that. It is asking for the SAS, which I'm trying to do that. Maybe let's do one thing. I'll try to connect a different storage account because I've already generated that for the other storage account, right? It's already connected. So let me generate it for this one. Go to the shared access signature. Let me select a couple of things. Even I want to have the access to object, I'll remove this. So let me generate it. Let me try to copy the SAS token now. Connection string also is okay, but let me copy the SAS token. Display name, I'll give like, what is the storage account? It is stan east US. It should be there in the token. Okay, it's not there. Okay, stan east US storage std lrs 001. Click. Ah, interesting. Then I'm not copying the right thing there. So copy the connection string. Try to paste that at least. Even that is not allowed. Maybe let's do one thing. Let me go one step back. Let's try to do this connection string. Try to paste the connection string. Okay. The SAS token has inadequate resource type access. Service level access is SRT source is yes is required. Oh, okay. I've not enabled the yes option, the service option. They are asking us to allow that in order to use that. Okay, so this is the problem. That's fine. So if that is the case, then it makes sense. Okay, so let me copy the connection string and I'll paste that. Okay, now it works. Okay, so it is mandatorily demanding the service based access because we are using the service here. Okay, so now it connected. So using the SAS option, so you can see the difference here, whether we have connected using the shared access signature or whether we have connected using the access key. So these two are different method, but the shared access signature is very powerful. The reason behind is it has got a lot of options to restrict the time-based access, and you can allow only specific IP range. You can allow only specific time zone to access. You can do a lot of filtering and a lot of criteria can be done using shared access signature. But if you want to connect it at the complete account level, yeah, well and good. You can just easily do that. Click on this. You will select the subscription and it will ask you for Azure or Azure China or Azure US. And you can go and give the username and password in the browser and you will be able to do that. But again, this is my colleague's thing. So I cannot, I mean, if it is asking for some additional credential, I might not be able to do that. But if you just give that, automatically, you will be able to connect to your complete subscription. All the storage account, everything will be accessible using your subscription level credential. So I'll also show you quickly one more third-party explorer. Okay, maybe like what is that? CyberDuck Explorer for Azure storage. So there are many tools that are available. See, it is again going to Microsoft native thing. So if you want to access using third-party tools like this, CyberDeck, there are hundreds of tools. Okay, hundreds of third-party tools are there to access Microsoft storage. See, the beauty of these tools, using these tools, you can connect to Azure, AWS, and see, there are tool sets which gives you option to connect multiple cloud for Azure, AWS, GCP, and all those things. Okay, so there are tools which supports that. Yeah, so this is Explorer. There is one beautiful tool. I think even the CyberDuck itself, you have plugins for AWS, Azure, and other tools. Explorer, Storage Explorer for multiple flavors. Okay, so there are some compute flash storage. Okay, Velero is there, but Velero, they will ask for licenses. But there are free tools. I think even the CyberDeck, they've got some free tools. I've tried it in the past. Let me check. CyberDuck. Yeah, so you can see that it has given Stonefly, different tools. See, the advantage of going with some third-party tools, using these tools, you can actually try and use it for accessing multiple cloud storage. You can move data from Azure to AWS, from AWS to GCP or whatever, right? You have that option. Okay, let me see. Yeah, it is downloading. So it will ask some registration keys if you want to use it for production. But for now, let's see whether it works, or else I'll show you something else. Okay, it is the same way that how we connected Azure Storage Explorer. The connection options are very much similar. Okay, so only thing I want to show you is you can use third-party tools or SDKs to connect to Microsoft Azure Storage account. So that's the only thing I want to show you here. There are many tools. Okay, there are many popular tools that some of the organization will use, but the way of connecting to that is very much similar. Okay, just give it a minute. It takes some time to load. Yeah, it is loading. Okay, now if I want to open up a connection, it'll ask for the option here. See, this is what I was telling you. You can connect to Google Drive, Dropbox, Microsoft OneDrive. You can connect to Azure Blob Storage, too many different things. You can also connect to my server also here, and Amazon S3. So if you are able to connect to these many different storage, what is the beauty here? You can just drag and drop content from one cloud storage to another cloud storage just like that. So let me copy the storage account name quickly. I'll use this option, storage account name, and then it is asking for the key, show, copy, enter it, and then connect. Okay, it is asking for the storage account. Login whether the authorization header is formed. Okay, let me copy the entire connection string. I don't want to save this. What is happening? Okay, 1 second. get a registration key. Why? Let me, this is fine, this is fine. Save option, more option. Okay, path is not needed. Windows Azure blob storage. This is the server storage account dot, what is this? That is not the right thing. Okay, let me copy that 1 second. Go to the endpoint. That is the endpoint here. And the points. Here it is. You can copy this. This is not mandatory. Okay, it is saying URL at. Let me delete that. Okay, this way it is now fine. At least it gives the latest thing. The only thing I want to prove is you can use like these kind of third-party tools to access your Azure storage using the third-party SDK also. Okay, let me copy the key and then enter the key here and then try to connect. Stan Azure with username. Oh, okay, it is asking me for username and password in the keychain, but then let me not store that. 1 second. It should not be asking too many questions like this. Okay, let me try copy. Okay, it works now. Okay, so you can just try and expand it. Okay, it will take some time. Okay, refresh it. Oh, there is no content within that. Okay. You got these things, right? Oh, okay, public container, it is there. This is the one. Okay, so I can upload some content within that. It is empty. So I thought I connected to the other storage account where we had some content, right? So let me do one thing. I'll upload some files here. I'll also upload some files using that other option. Okay, so here, let me go one step back. I'll upload some image, upload. I'll also upload some content here. So here it is able to access it. Now, from here also, I should be able to upload some files. So here, I'm not very regularly using this. The upload option is here. So I can also upload some documents if it is there. No, nothing is there in that folder. Go to my C drive. Let me try and upload some file, performance logs, if it is there something. Nothing is there also, empty. Program files. DLL files, it's risky. exe also, it's risky, but let me try. It is uploading, but again it is asking for authentication because of the nature of the file. It is exe, right? Okay, let me go one step back, go and give the access key. Generally executables are risky files, right? So that's the reason it is confirming our access. Very good. I can also see that other file, cafeonus.png is there, and if I go here, I should also see the exe file within that public container 01. Perfect. Okay, I can also upload it from the tool. I can also upload it from the Azure storage directly. So now I can see the direct thing. Even I can go and do some more things. Okay, so anyway, so I mean, I just want to show you that you can also use some third-party tools like CyberDeck, or there are hundreds of tools in the market through which you can connect and make some transfers. You can transfer some data from your on-premises server to Azure storage. So there are beautiful options like this. Okay, you can reload, remove. Yep. Okay. So any questions so far? I know like today it was more practical. It should be easy if you practice from your side also, but there is a lot of ground to cover. There is a lot of things that you also need to practice. Any questions before we take a small break? It's time is 7, so we'll take a small break now
Stan,
and
are
stop the
they
record.
Microsoft authorized tools for transfer, Stan?
So here, this is the Microsoft proprietary and free tool, which was this one, Azure Storage Explorer. Most of them will be using Azure Explorer, or
No,
you can
no,
also
the
use
Cyberduck.
Azure. No, I mean those things. Yeah. So if you ask me, like, let me check
It's
that.
like Elzilla,
Microsoft,
WinSCP, right? How what we use in
yeah,
Linux.
Microsoft authorized Azure Storage tools. Maybe I need to go and double check that. So Microsoft, we can raise a case and confirm, because like some tools they might
Okay.
authorize, some tools they might not. I mean, there are some complete list of tools that they authorize actually. Okay, but yeah, I'm not pretty sure about the CyberDAG, but there are some authorized tool which you can use. Yeah, like WinSCP and all those things. Yeah. So let me stop the
Okay.
recording. Yeah, sure. There is another. I mean, there are.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, now so far we have been just looking at only the blob storage option. Okay, there are other categories that are there in your storage account, like file share, queues, tables, and so on. So now before going into the other categories, just to summarize, see, blob storage, it's optimal for any kind of um, objects. It can be your images document. You can upload it directly to the browser and then you can access it. You can store some video, audio files. You can use it as a backup location. You can use it as a DR. You can also use it for analysis, and you can also store some virtual machine hard disk. So binary large objects or containers can be used for storing a lot of different content, and you can organize it as you want. That is the main purpose of this one, the blob storage. But then the file storage, it is required when you want to have multiple subsequent network level access. So if you have got some servers on the network and you want to access that particular content from only the server level or as a file share on the network, then you need to go and use the file share. So as we discussed yesterday, we talked about the comparison, right? When we compared it, we compared between object and file. Then the main difference between them is the way that we access it using the network access protocol or the network file system or SMB protocol. Coming back to the file share here, so file storage is actually for accessing the file shares from multiple servers simultaneously at the same time. You can also access it from multiple users or multiple devices. So Azure Files, again, it is a Microsoft managed file share. You don't have to have, you need not worry about the backend infrastructure, operating system, and other things. So you can have concurrent access from different devices, servers, desktop, client devices, and so on. And you can also connect it from multiple users. You can have your home folder, or you can have your departmental share created on this Azure files, and you can concurrently access it, map it on different machines. You can concurrently map and access it from different devices. Okay, so there is a very good option that is native here, which has got file sharing, locking, and storing mechanism. So if multiple people are accessing it and then modifying it, that has got a backend algorithm which will work on to make sure that there are not any issues when multiple people are accessing it. So when we access these Azure files, we use the native the accessible using the industry standard protocols like NFS, SMB, and the native file formats. Okay, from Windows, we call it as server message block. That is the default network file system format, which is used for accessing any files from Windows operating system. If you're using Linux, then you have network file system, which is NFS. This is predominantly on the Linux, Unix operating system access. If you are accessing it from Windows on the network level, we use the SMB or the CAFS file system to access those file share. Okay, we'll create some file shares and then we'll try to mount it and access it from different network, and then try to see how it works. Okay, so I've got a server. Okay, this machine can be anywhere in the internet or anywhere in the network. Okay, only thing is all these access are going to happen using HTTPS. So there is I already told, like here it's all about there is nothing to manage from our side. No physical server, no operating system, no appliance. You don't have to worry about high availability. You don't have to worry about the OS patches, bad disk replacement. All the infrastructure and the OS management, the physical and the OS and the associated management is taken care by Microsoft here. So now let's go and create the file share in one of this particular storage account. Let me create a file share and let me give it a name. I'll call it as Stan file share 1. Okay, and there are two options, transaction optimized and the premium option. See, premium file share is mainly for premium file storage accounts. So earlier we created, there are two options, right? Standard performance tier and premium performance tier. If you are creating premium performance tier, you will get that option. So we have created this as a standard one. So that's the reason the premium option is grayed out. So when you create the storage account, you have the option to create like that, right? So if you select the second option, automatically you'll have option to go and create a file share, which is premium category. See, I can select the file share like this, and then I can even create a storage account, which is purpose built for file share and premium category. I can just say Stan is to us premium and then file share 001, something like that. Again, you have got LRS, right? Local redundant storage 001. So you can also select what is the purpose of that file share. See, you need not mix and match containers or like what you call the blobs and the file share in the same storage account. As a best practice, you can have a separate storage account for your file share and a separate storage account for your the blob containers. Okay, let me create the new storage account. I'll show that. So once after you create this, in this particular storage account, if you go to the file share, you should be able to see the different options, the premium, transaction optimized, and all those things. So while this is getting created, okay, it is done. So if I go to the other storage account that we have got, let me create a file system that is of transaction optimized category. Okay, let me create it. The challenge with transaction optimized, it has got specific ingress, inbound speed, and then egress, outbound speed. There is a limitation in the input output that it can support. Okay, so let me just give some name. Stan transaction optimized file share 01. And see, if I look at the option, the maximum capacity that I can get is 5 terabyte. If I want to have 100 terabyte capacity, what you need to do is you have to cancel this, go here, and then there is an option. If you go to the properties, somewhere on the configuration, if I scroll down, there is a new option called enable large file share. If I enable this large file share option, it can support out to how much? 100 terabyte. Okay, you can see that you can support maximum of 100 terabyte. If your organization is looking for such a huge capacity, then you have to come to the configuration of the storage account and enable the large file share option. But only problem with large file share, you cannot have that converted to a GRS option. So if you currently you are in local redundant storage, right? You cannot convert it to GRS after enabling this large file share. So you need to inform the customer that it cannot be geo redundant, it can only be local redundant after enabling the large file share. But for now, like for our testing, 100 TB is a very huge size. So we'll go with the 5 TB capacity. But yeah, you have the option to go and create a 100 terabyte maximum limit on your file share. Okay, Stan transaction optimized file share 001. And if you want to select the hot tier and cold tier, you can also select that. Hot tier is for general purpose, but then you can access it anytime. But then this one is the cool tier option, which is which will be having a lot of cost saving. Okay, but this transaction optimize, if you don't need premium level latency, if you have an application that is looking for very quick input output or large throughput and file transfer speed, always go for premium. Premium is the best option for premium level latency requirement, but transaction optimize is as an optimized option which supports up to 60 MIBS and 1000 IOPS per account per file share. Okay, so now let this get created. Meanwhile, I'll also show you the other option. If you go to the premium blob storage, no, this is not the one. We created something now, right? What is the name we gave? Refresh. Yeah, here it is. Premium file share LRS. Okay, so this is purpose built for file share. Now you are not seeing the containers, tables, and other things. Now you can go and create a file share. Now the option will be enabled. Okay, see now automatically you have the option for premium. Okay, this is a premium file share. By default, now this has got created as a premium file share. If you go and create a premium file share, you get very high bandwidth. See 100 IOPS against 4000 IOPS here. And if I go and provision maximum capacity set to maximum, you get up to 1 lakh IOPS, which is very huge, and you are going to have very good performance, and you have a very good throughput also. This is unimaginable. Okay, so 10,340 MIBS compared to 60 MIBS in transaction optimized. And if you want to access it from Linux Unix, you have to select NFS. If you want to access it from SMB, which is on the Windows machine, you can select the SMB option. So now let's not go and set to maximum. I'll just give only 10 GB for now. And based on the size, see, this is another limitation. For premium file share, the minimum size has to be 100 GB and the maximum has to be 1 lakh 1,02,400 GB. Okay, so now I don't want to create it. I don't want to end up paying too much of capacity. Okay, let me create something here. Okay, so that we can differentiate it. Stan premium file share 01. So more the capacity, more the performance, more the throughput. Okay, see, because like if you are storing your data in one hard drive, which is 1 TB, you can only get the performance that you can get from that 1 TB hard disk. But if you are storing it in multiple hard disk, multiple more the size, the data can be scattered across multiple disks, and you can get more throughput, more bandwidth, and then less latency because of the data getting stored in multiple disks on the back end. Here, if you are storing very less capacity, the data cannot be scattered across multiple disks, right? So the throughput will be very less. So when you store more data, the data can be put across multiple disks, and you can get more speed, ingress, and both outbound. Okay, I'll create the Stan file share. Now, at the rest, it is also encrypted. Okay, I'll show you that. Okay, let me go to the other one. Here is where we created it, right? Yeah. So now let me go and open this. I think I have the option to connect to that also using the Storage Explorer, if I'm not wrong. Let me try that. Yeah, so here you'll start seeing that file share now. Cancel this file share. Yeah, I'm able to see that here. You can also connect to file share also. See, if I click on this option, it gives me option to go and connect to a separate file share also. I can also do that. If I want to attach to that, then I can go and give that name, and then I can attach the specific file share only. Okay, for example, if I want to connect to the file share, I can go and use the same methodology. Copy the file share account name, give the display name, show the string, copy it. Okay, I copied the wrong content there. Let me delete it. Okay, let me delete it. It is asking for SAS URL. Okay, just give me a minute. Generate. Copy this. paste it, give it a name. I can just give some name. URL is missing a path to the resource. Why? What is missing? HTTP, HTTPS, enable deletion. Okay, this is all fine. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, SAS URL, this is fine. Sometimes these tools behave erratic. URL to a path. Let me refresh it. Let me cancel this. Let me connect again. Let me click on file share. Let me paste it. No, something wrong. Let me try this one, token. But generally it asks us multiple option. Okay, let me try one more thing. Let me give the other console option and then see. You can also connect to the entire storage account. That is also fine. So that if you don't want to connect directly to the file share, you can just click on that storage account and you can use the SAS token option or the connection string, and you will be able to access the file share within that indirectly. Okay, so if I place this connection, not this one, so go
And
to
is
the
it
access
because
key.
that premium thing was created with private thing?
Possibly, maybe, yeah, maybe I'm giving a private option. That's the reason it is not allowed. But yeah, that's fine. So if I connect it to the direct storage account, now I'll be able to access the file share within that premium storage. Even though the premium file share is a private one, it indirectly accessible using the storage account here. So that is the thing. Okay, yeah, maybe the access permission will check that later, but I'm able to access the file share here. Even though it is premium and private, I'm able to access it. Okay, but then we can try the file share directly, but let's not waste time in troubleshooting that. So here, let's do one thing. Let's see how to mount these file shares on different machines, like on my laptop or on this particular server. How to mount that? So go to that file share, and then in this file share you will have an option to mount it. If I just open this option, you have the connect option here. You can also open this and then you will see that here on the top. Okay, you have the connect option. Click on that. You will be able to get a 3 different option. If you want to connect it from Windows or Linux or Mac, they give you the script to connect that. And also you can, if you have a username and password in Active Directory, you can also use that AD integrated option. See, suppose I want to mount this particular drive as a different drive letter, for example, yes, and then I want to show the script. This will give me a simple command. See, the command is new PowerShell drive with drive letter yes, and then it is giving me the path to the storage account. Simple as that. But then they have given it on a complete script level, but the actual command is only this much. Okay, new PowerShell drive and then the UNC path to the storage account and the particular file share. Okay, you can also do that, but again it has given the username and then the connection key, all those things here. I can copy the entire thing and then come to the machine here. You can access, you can do the same from any machine on the network. You can go to the Windows terminal or PowerShell, whatever you want to use. Okay, let me do it in the Windows terminal only. So by default, it accepts PowerShell command. See, as of now, in my machine, I don't have, I mean, in this server, I don't have any drive called S drive. Okay, let me mount it now. Paste. First, it is going to try and connect in 445. It is waiting for the network to accept it. Yeah, if the test connection is succeeded, now it will mount that particular drive letter. Let's minimize this and then wait for the drive to, okay, it has got mounted here. Now I can put any content here. Okay, I can create a new file or I can do whatever I want. Stand file 1.txt test, save, and then we can go and check it on my Azure storage here. Go one step back, open it. Perfect. I'm able to see the file here, and whatever I'm going to do here, okay, it automatically accepts the text extension, but yeah, that's fine. If you want to give only one extension, just give it in double quotes, or just don't give any extension while creating it. I can also upload some files if I want to. Okay, once after I upload it here, I should also see that file coming up here. Yeah, perfect. Cookies. So you can access the same file share from any machine on the network. See, the simple thing is it has got the UNC path. You can see double backslash the endpoint of the storage. I mean the file, the storage account name dot file dot core dot windows dot net slash that particular file share. The file share is this one, stan operations file system 001. So this way you can mount it from any machine on the network, and you'll be able to access it. And you get secure transfer enabled by default. The data transfer happens through SMB, and even if you are accessing it using the browser, it will be accessed using HTTPS. So everything is safe and secure. You can mount the same drive on multiple desktops, multiple devices on the network, and you will be able to access the same content and store whatever configurations and access it from anywhere. Okay, this is how we generally use the file share and then access it. But then in certain scenarios, you might also need to do some file synchronization from your on-premises server to Azure storage. Okay, there are some requirements like that. So how do we do that? I'll show that. But before that, I'll explain these two options, backup and snapshot. But I'll create a server quickly in order to show you the quick demo. Just give me a minute. I'll quickly spin up a server. Okay, stan file share 001 file server 001, just giving some name. Okay, the server can be in even AWS or wherever you want to create it, even in your Windows VMware workstation or whatever location you want to create, you can create it. Okay, since this is for temporary purpose, I'll give 4 CPU and 16 GB memory because I'm going to delete it after we practice the concept. Okay, doesn't match. Okay, create it. Let it get created on the back end. Once after it is created, I'll show you the demo for how to synchronize a Windows server and Azure storage. Okay, these are something like which are very regularly used in many customer environment. It is a very popular use case. Okay, so while that server is getting deployed, let's go and look at the file share backup option and the snapshot option. See, backup again, we have a separate weekend full of backup related discussion. But now I'll at least show you the snapshot option. So coming to that particular storage account, going to the file share, going to that particular file share, you can also go and take a snapshot of each and every files that you want to do. See, it is asking me like snapshot 1 or whatever, and then I can click OK, and then it will create a snapshot. And if you have deleted accidentally, you can go and roll back, or after some modification, you can restore it back to the previous state using the snapshot option. And also you have the option to change the tier. If you want to change it to cool tier or hot tier or whatever, you have the option to convert that from higher category to lower category also. But then since this is a standard one, you cannot upgrade it to premium, but from premium also you can downgrade it. But here it is from transaction optimized to hot, you can change it to cool or whatever. This way you can increase and decrease the performance, as well as you can increase and decrease the cost, as well as for your storage, for your file share. Okay, now you can also set a quota. For example, if these are all end users, right? So they will be continuously storing the data. By default, the quota is set to 5 TB. But then if you want to restrict the users not storing the data beyond 100 GB, you can say 100 GB, so that whenever there is a limit, that when you're reaching 80 GB or 90 GB, you will get an alert stating that you are reaching the threshold. Okay, so you can also set quota and then limit the users from storing data too much. Okay, you have the option to add directory, which is not available in your container option, right? Here in the file share, you have the option to create multiple subfolder. You can just say Suresh, or like you can just say for departmental files, I'm just creating some folder. And similarly for home directory, I'm just creating something like home directory. And then I can create some subfolders within that. I can add some users here. Okay, so and I can access it. See, if I go to that server, I should all start seeing all those content coming up here. Yeah, so departments, home folder, within that Suresh, all those things are completely reflecting right after I make the changes there. Okay, so let's see if the server is now ready to connect to that file share using a file sync option. Go to the mission. Let's see this demo quickly. Copy that public IP. Okay, once after I log in, okay, what I'm going to do now is I want to create a kind of replication from my on-premises server to Azure storage. So there will be customers who are asking that I've got a remote site, I've got a server on my remote location, but the performance or the users are complaining that they are not able to access it at proper speed and all those things. So in order to do that, what you can do is you can use this kind of file sync option or a file caching option on your remote server or on your data center location, and then the users will start accessing the content in a very quick, or it will be much faster, and the latency will be very low and very less, and then you'll have a better access to your data. So I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so let me go to the firewall and then first disable that, because that might drop my connections on port number 443. So let me turn off all these things and then close these things. Now, in order to do that, I have to go and download the Azure File Sync tool. Even if I go and download it using the Internet Explorer, it will show me a lot of limitation. So in order to avoid that, I'll go and disable the Internet Explorer Enhanced Security so that it will not ask me to include all the sites into the trusted site. Let me close this. Let me also, okay, let me go and download the Chrome that way. So where exactly is the Edge browser? Here it is. Let's use the Edge browser. We don't have to use Chrome. So let me start without syncing my data. Yeah. Now let me go and download the Microsoft Storage File Sync agent. Okay, this is the official location from where you need to download it. Everything is under the downloads, Microsoft.download. So you can download the latest version. Okay, so select your operating system. So currently this is supported for Windows 2012 R2 2016 2022 2019. Okay, that's fine. So which means your file sync agent is going to support that. And this tool is for what? It will catch all the data in multiple locations for fast local performance. It is going to reduce the thing, and also you need not have any special backup and DR. It is very quick. All the data, whatever you are storing in your local file server, it will also get stored in Azure storage also. Okay, let me show the demo. While I show the demo, it will be easier for you to understand. I'll download it. So I can only download for the respective operating system. Otherwise, you need to spend a lot of time to download it. It has got 60 MB for each OS. For me, I have 2019. I'll just download the 60 MB file that I need. If you want to do it for other operating system, you can also select and download it. Okay, the download has started. Let me go and open the file. Okay, let me accept and then start it. So it is going to connect using the, if you have a proxy server in your own organization on premises, give that proxy server port number and details here I don't want to do that. If I want to update the Microsoft Storage Sync agent, whenever Microsoft releases a new version of the file sync agent or the storage sync agent, it will automatically update if I select this option. If I don't want to update that storage sync, I can say do not use Microsoft Update. So it will not update the storage sync agent version, but I want to do that now. And when you want to update that storage sync, during the weekend or during the weekdays after business hours, so you can select when you want to do that, or else automatically it will select a specific date, Tuesday, and it will install upgrade on Tuesday 6 p.m. Okay, so this is like just for the storage sync, right? See, yeah, if this is getting interrupted, only the synchronization between your on-premises file server and Azure storage will be impacted. There is no real business impact, but still you need to ensure that you have to do it during the off business hours or during the weekends. That will be better. So in the chat, you guys have asked like, are there any other tools for Azure storage access, right? See, there are many tools I've seen organizations using tools like Cloudberry Explorer. See, Cloudberry Explorer is available for Azure Blob, Amazon S3, GCP, and all those things. So this is a very popular tool. And there are many other tools. I think there is a tool called Serab. Okay, there is some wrong with my connection. Okay, you got tools like Cerebrata, Redgate, Cloud Combine. So there are many tools. Okay, it's like I would say hundreds and hundreds of tools are there. And if you want to combine all the clouds together into one console, there is a tool called Cloud Combine. That is also very good popular tool for combining Azure, AWS, and all those things. So yeah, there are many tools. Okay, Cloudberry, Cerebrata, Redgate, and many of them are authorized tool also from Microsoft. Okay, now let's check that. Okay, installation is still going on. It takes some time. So while this is happening, I'll also show you where exactly the storage sync option is available. If you go to your uh, console, you have separate option for storage sync services. So here I need to create a storage sync service. Okay, it is asking me for which storage account you are planning to do that. So I'll select the resource group. I'll select the storage sync service name. I will just say on-prem or on-prem to stan storage file server, something like that. Whatever name you want to give, you can give some meaningful name. And where exactly my file shares are located, where exactly my storage account is located. East US. I'll create it in East US so that you have the storage sync happening in the same location. And if I want to do the private endpoints, I can select the private endpoint, but I want to do it on the internet now because my machine is on the internet. You can do it between two different, I mean, Azure storage and your Azure server VM also if you want to. Okay, using the private endpoint, but I want to show you how to do it on the internet level. So once after the storage sync is created, okay, let's see what has happened here, whether this is ready. Perfect. This is also ready now. Is it looking for a reboot? No. Perfect. No reboot needed. Okay, good. So now let me go and check out that particular new tool that got added, Azure File Sync. Select that Azure Storage Sync Updater. Azure File Sync is updated already. Okay, fine. Now let's see what is happening. It is asking where I want to connect to. I'll just say Azure Cloud. Okay, I'm not sure if it is going to ask me the credentials. Okay, hopefully it should accept. If not, I have to disturb him. Does someone have a practice account or a free trial account from your side, which we can use for testing now? Okay, let's see if this works, which is good. Just give me a second. Okay. My God. Okay. Last time also we have not received the code. Let to verify that this is your email address, enter it below and click next. Okay, this is something which I don't know. But then even if I enter that, it will ask for the code. I'll have to call him. Then okay, fine. So it is asking for authentication. Does someone have a free tier account which we can use for quick practice now? See, I just want to connect my server to that storage account, and there is no cost involved. Okay, nothing to worry.
Stan, I have my office account.
No,
I
that's
don't
not.
have to the lab.
No. It will work, but then I don't want to do that. Okay,
No, no.
so
Please be trial, but I don't
sorry.
think you'll be able to connect. From my
Yeah, it will
office
work
laptop, I
actually.
have to.
Yeah, it will work. Okay, it will work. So okay, let's do one thing. Let me maybe if you want to try it, we can try it here. See, let's do
Try.
one. Yeah, okay. Let me give you a keyboard control. Okay, portal.azure.com, and I will give you keyboard access. Give keyboard and mouse access to Uma. Now you have access. You can enter your credential.
Okay, 1 minute. It's not allowing me to type.
Is it?
1 minute.
How about
I
now?
have not received the. No, I have not received the request.
No, you can. You should be able to type. Okay, let me. Oh, you are connected from web
Typing.
actually. Okay.
I'm typing. It's not. 1 minute.
Yeah.
Name, picture. I have to tap.
Yeah. Does someone else have a free tier account? You can also try
Yeah,
it.
1 minute.
Okay.
Just
Yeah, yeah,
1 minute. I
yeah,
just
yeah.
will
Oh,
get
you have controls now. Yeah. You are able to control. It says you have control now. Yeah.
but still I am not able to type.
Hmm. Hi, Suresh. Yeah, you want to try it?
Yeah, I think I am not able to.
Can you try now? I have just minimized that particular console now.
Okay, you want me to try?
Yeah, you can try it.
I'm no, I'm typing. It is not going.
No, then fine. Okay, let's see. Suresh says hi. Suresh, you want to try with your account? I can give you control. You can try to log in with your account, and we can quickly see that lab. It's a very small, quick lab.
Yeah, yeah, Stan.
Okay.
Actually, I tried with my personal laptop. It was expired just now. I checked.
Oh, your account has expired. Okay, fine. Leave that. Okay, let's do. Even I've got my own account, but that doesn't support it. Okay, let's do this. Yeah, even that is not going to work out. Maybe I'll get the code from them later. Okay, so what this lab I'm trying to show you is I'm going to synchronize my on-premises content to the Azure file storage account. Okay, using the storage sync services, it will replicate whatever data I'm storing it in my server here. Okay, let me just. Okay, worst case, like you can refer to my other lab. Okay, I've got the same lab done earlier also. So anyway, so yeah, I think we have covered the file server also. I mean the file share also. We were able to mount it on this machine as a separate drive. Okay, that is the purpose of file share. You can mount it from many systems. Okay, see, this is one machine, right? I will also show you that other option. So I can go to that other server and I can also do the mounting there also. So let me open up here. Simultaneously, I can mount that file share from different servers or different devices and so on. So click on connect, copy the code, and I can use different drive letter for different machine. So I can use the same Z drive, show the script, copy the script, and then I can connect it from my other server, the new server which I've got created here. I can go to PowerShell and then enter the command. First it will test the connectivity, and then once the connectivity is tested, then it will go and mount that drive letter. So here I'll see that as of now it doesn't have any Z drive. Z drive is not there. I'll enter it here and it will start showing me the Z drive. So same content, it will be here. Okay, I can do the same thing from multiple servers and multiple user machines at the same time simultaneously. So that is the advantage of Azure Files, where you can concurrently map it from different devices, different users, and it uses the industry standard SMB protocol. Even you can connect it from your Mac or Linux using the native NFS or the traditional protocols. Okay, so this is on the file share. Okay, we have got few more content that is still left out, like data migration, and then the security options, which we can, even there are few more options here which we will discuss in the next class. But I think one option we can complete. We have got a couple of more minutes. We can see the advisor recommendation alone. See, advisor recommendation, this will give you lot of recommendations to reduce the cost, improve the performance, improve the high availability, and all those things. So this is a free recommendations that comes from Microsoft. Advisor recommendation, it will give you to increase the reliability or improve the performance, increase the operation excellence, decrease the cost, and then improve the security. It will give you a lot of recommendation, and if you have to go and do whatever recommendation that they are telling you, like if they tell you to go and convert it to premium to get performance, and then you have to talk to the business and then try to implement that. So there are a lot of recommendation that you will get here in real production environment. Since we have got very less data, there is not much recommendations here, but then maybe I'll try to generate in another account. And what about this one? The resource sharing is cross account resource sharing. For example, you have some two different businesses. For example, you have two different companies, okay, company A and company B. And if you want to access the content from one organization to another organization, you need to use this cross account or cross origin resource sharing. So using this option, you will be able to access the content from one particular company or one particular domain to another particular company. See, for example, let's take two different company. So you got um, red bus, okay, where you want to have booking, okay, and they connect to different vendors like whatever, right, Radimina or whatever travels, okay. There are hundreds of travel services, but then you have one particular customer who has access to all the seat layout. Similarly, if you talk about Book My Show or different application, so they need access from one domain to another domain. Okay, so how do we enable the cross account access or cross domain access? How do we access, how do we allow different domain to access different domain? So the cross account cross origin resource sharing option is a feature where you can access from one domain to another domain. So if you want to allow them to do a upload or get the file or get the status of the seat layout or what is the current booking condition, so you can give access to the file share queue service to the table also. So if you want to allow access to the particular table and then retrieve the data, you can give this cross origin resource sharing option. Okay, you can allow them to access all the four different Azure storage services. This is mainly to give access from one domain to another domain through application, through API to API, from one application to another application. If you want them to access a particular content, you can use this cross origin resource sharing. I'll try and show you a kind of use case, a real-time use case, but that is really needed for your Azure developer exam. But now I can just give you a heads up that you have an option in Azure storage account which allows you to access from one company to another company using the application API. Okay, so that option is also supported. Okay, there is. Okay, I'll try to show you the Azure file sync and any other lab that is pending. Maybe I'll take 1 more hour or like 30 minutes to 1 hour to complete the remaining portion. Remaining, like we have got only very few option. Okay, we'll see the Azure CDN along with friend door, and then we'll try to look at the other labs also. Okay, any questions on containers and file share, whatever we have covered today, and then any questions on these data management options? So far we have covered this much. Yeah, go ahead.
Stan, no, I just missed that how you mounted it, that file server part.
Okay,
That
see the
command,
file share, you need to, the command is only this much. Okay, new PowerShell drive, the drive letter is Z, and then it asks me the UNC path. See, generally in your organization, you give like this, right? You go and type // server name, and then you give the share name, right? That's how you generally access it. Similarly here, this is on the public cloud, right? So it gives, we are giving the endpoint for your Azure file share, and you are giving the storage account name. So you are using the command new PowerShell. See, in on-premises, you might be using a command like net use or something like that. You can also use that, but then you need to provide the credentials. The username is this, the storage account name is the username, and the password is the access key. Okay, that is how it generally works. You can use both the methods, net use command, or you can use the new PowerShell drive command to mount it. So they give you the script. Okay, you really don't have to memorize, or you don't have to struggle with that. They give you the syntax here itself. If you go to the option here, if you go to the connect option, they give you the script to connect to that file share. Here it is. They are giving the complete script. You just copy paste it. That will work. Okay, so the username is the storage account name, and the password is the access key, and you are using this command to connect. Yeah. Okay, I think we are good. I'll stop the recording. Okay, thank you guys for joining.